Have you ever felt like you're just losing a fight against your own habits? Well, you're not alone. In this explainer, we're going to break down the science of why addictions are so incredibly tough to crack. But more importantly, we're going to walk through a 5-step scientific plan to help you take back control. It's absolutely possible, and it all starts with understanding what's going on in the first place. To really get how this cycle works, let's start with a story. Meet Rohan. He's a student trying to get his work done, and he decided to take a quick 5-minute break to scroll through some reels. Sounds harmless, right? We've all been there. But here's the thing. For Rohan, those 5 minutes, these started to stretch. He'd look up from his phone and suddenly, bam, a whole hour had just vanished. That little habit turned into a full-blown behavioral addiction, and the fallout was real. His focus was completely shot, his self-confidence took a nosedive, and he slowly spiraled into depression. Now, Rohan's story is tough, but it's also incredibly common. And the good news is there is a way out. So today, we're going to look at the addiction trap, then unpack the science of cravings. After that, we'll dive right into a 5-step plan to help you rewire your brain and build your path forward. Let's get into it. First up, the addiction trap. Let's zoom out a bit and see just how big this problem really is. The truth is, Rohan's struggle isn't just his. It's the story of an estimated 90% of people today, especially students, who are dealing with some kind of addiction. That's a huge number. So if this feels like your story too, please know you are definitely not alone. Now, when we say addiction, we're usually talking about one of two things. There's substance addiction, which is what we traditionally think of, right? Cigarettes, alcohol, that sort of thing. But honestly, the bigger challenge for so many of us today is behavioral addiction. This is the compulsive gaming, the endless social media scrolling, the porn habits. They don't involve a physical substance, but they hijack your brain in almost the exact same way. So whether it's a substance or a behavior, what makes these things so incredibly hard to stop? Let's dig into the science of what is actually happening inside your brain. Scientifically speaking, addiction is a compulsive need for something that feels good right now but causes serious problems down the line. And here's the real kicker. You know it's bad for you. You can see the negative consequences, but you just can't seem to stop. And it all happens in this little 4-stage loop. First, something triggers you. Maybe you feel bored or you just see your phone sitting there. That sparks a craving, this intense urge. Then comes the response. You act on it. You start scrolling. And finally, stage 4, guilt. You feel terrible for wasting time, but the next day, that cycle just starts all over again. Now, at the very heart of this cycle is a brain chemical called dopamine. Think of it as your brain's reward chemical. Addictive behaviors give you a massive spike of it, which feels amazing. But here's the problem. Research from Harvard Medical School shows that in an addicted brain, your dopamine levels are constantly spiking and then crashing. A normal brain, it stays much more stable. This wild chemical roller coaster is what makes everyday life feel boring, and over time, it's a direct path to depression. So, can we actually break this cycle? The answer is 1,000% yes, but we have to be real about it. Science tells us it takes about 30 days to reset. The first 2 weeks, they're going to be the hardest. You'll probably feel pretty low. But week 3, that's the turning point. You start to get your energy back. A little bit of hope returns. And by week 4, the addiction's grip really starts to loosen, and you just feel happier. Okay, so how do we start? The whole entire journey kicks off with one absolutely critical first step, just being honest with yourself. Step 1 is so simple to say, but for a lot of us, it's really hard to do. You have to accept that you might be addicted. A lot of us don't even realize when a small habit has crossed that line. So let's do a quick check. Ask yourself these 3 questions and just be honest. First one, do you tell yourself, oh, I'll just do this for 5 minutes, scroll a bit, play a quick game, but then you look up and somehow 2 or 3 hours have just disappeared? Does that sound familiar? All right, second question. When you can't do that thing, how do you feel? Do you get bored, feel a little empty, maybe even sad, like something important is missing from your day? And number 3, this one is the most important. After you've spent all that time, do you get hit with this wave of guilt? Do you promise yourself, I'm not doing this tomorrow, but then tomorrow comes and you do it all over again? If you answered yes to these, that's a really strong sign you're dealing with an addiction. And you know what? Just accepting that, that's the first huge victory. Okay, so once you've accepted the reality of the situation, we move into the action phase. Let's get into steps 2 and 3, which are all about actively rewiring how you respond to those cravings. Step 2 is all about that dopamine we just talked about. The goal isn't to get rid of it. No, the goal is to hijack the system back. You need to find a new, healthier way to get that dopamine hit when a craving strikes. So, what does that actually look like? Well, research from the National Institute of Drug Abuse shows that the moment you feel a craving, you have to immediately shift your brain to something else. Go for a run, do a quick 30-minute workout, call a friend. If you're craving junk food, for example, eat a full, healthy meal. It fills you up, and it basically kills that craving on the spot. And this leads us straight into step 3, find and remove your triggers. Remember that addiction cycle? The trigger is what kicks the whole thing off. In one study, they found that just showing addicts photos related to drug use was enough to light up the craving centers in their brains. For you, a trigger might be as simple as your phone sitting on your desk. So turn off your notifications, put your phone in another room, mute those group chats. You have to remove the cue to stop the cycle before it even starts. All right, now for the final and honestly the most powerful steps. We've dealt with the outside stuff, your actions, your environment. Now it's time to win the internal battle, the one that's happening inside your own mind. Step 4 is about an identity shift, and this is a total game changer. The author of the book Atomic Habits talks about this a lot. We become the stories we tell ourselves. So if you're constantly telling yourself, I'm addicted, I'm weak, I have no self-control, guess what? Your brain believes it and your body will act on it. But if you change that script, you can change your reality. You have to start telling yourself a new story every single day. In fact, I want you to say this out loud with me right now. Ready? I am powerful. I am strong. This addiction is small and I will remove it from my life. When you say that, you're not just saying words. You are literally rewiring your brain and building a new identity, one where you are in control. And that brings us to the final step. Step 5 is this incredible technique that people like the actor Sanjay Dutt and the singer Honey Singh have used to overcome their own severe addictions. It's a scientifically backed idea, and it's called the 10-minute rule. Here's how it works. The moment a craving hits you, that intense urge, you do nothing. You just make a deal with yourself. I'll just wait 10 minutes. And for those 10 minutes, you force yourself to keep doing whatever you were doing. And what science has shown is that after about 10 to 15 minutes, the power of that craving just plummets. You actually start to forget you even wanted it. It's such a simple trick, but it's incredibly effective at rewiring your brain's response. So there you have it. Accept your reality, rewire your responses, and rebuild your identity. These are 5 scientific steps to take back the controls of your life. This isn't magic, it's a practical, proven process. And now you have the tools to make a real, lasting change. If you take only one thing away from all of this, please let it be this. You are strong. You are stronger than any habit, you are stronger than any craving, and you are for sure stronger than any algorithm that was designed to keep you hooked. At the end of the day, having the tools is one thing, but it's the decision you make right now that matters. So the only real question left is this. What's the first thing you're going to change? Start